You're gonna watch out, watch out, watch out.
Oh. Oh.
We almost lost to Tony.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it started rolling on you. Oh, I got it. I think I can hold it.
Can you
got
just
it.
hold that
Yeah,
for a second?
Yeah, yeah.
But we got the caster wheel right here. We just pull that up. Now we can bring it down.
And is this going to come flying at you that you need some
Well, I'm hoping
some resistance?
I'm hoping that you're going to be at the bottom to catch it.
So in other words, when it falls, it's going to hit me is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Nice. Well, I think I'm going to hang on right here.
I got it here, so we should be okay.
Yeah, I don't trust you.
Now, I've never done this before, so don't try this at home, kids.
It is 400 pounds, so.
450.
Okay, well, that's more than you and me combined, so. Oh, piece of cake.
Look at that.
Although I'm glad I had my hand here, because, ooh,
Oh.
it did, this right here, it did want to come towards me.
Yeah. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip these wheels down. Or these. Let me get one up. Can you find the hole? I'm sorry, that's a personal matter.
I got it.
All right, now it's a lot easier.
Yeah. Let's see if I can do it one-handed.
Nope, let me have that. You're gonna need both.
I need both hands.
I know you're Superman.
No, I'm not super. Oh, no, you can do it one-handed.
What do you think?
It's one-handed, easy. We're on pretty hard ground here, so that
Well,
helps.
you do a lot of things one-handed.
Ace.
That's signing those checks I'm talking about.
That's right. Picking my nose. Wiping my rear.
You do that one-handed?
Yeah, usually.
No wonder you stain so much.
Oh yeah, that is slicker and greased all dung. That was easy. Yeah, it pulls really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell it's not that heavy either.
No.
But if you were on real uneven or soft ground, you'd need two hands.
The other thing with this is those stabilizers in the back.
Yeah.
You'd have to have a 1x2 underneath it, because it would sink down.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Now, one thing I had to do too, let me show you, is the new generation, after a number of us has commented, is right here. I went ahead and bought some aluminum and just bolted it on here, and here, because it vibrates and they fall over.
Okay, well, this might be an issue here because you got a slight lean this direction.
Yeah,
we
this
might lose
way.
them off this end.
Yeah,
too.
possibly. We'll see. Most of the times I've seen them falling this way.
Right,
But you're right.
right.
They are. We'll see if it tilts
Well, we
that
can
way.
we can always lift this and put a
I brought some blocks.
Okay, yeah. Although this is, I can tell it's not too bad. Obviously, there's no level, but I can definitely see it's got to slope back this direction.
Yes.
So this is a Tony's Tool Cool Specialty
Yep.
add-on.
It's called the lips.
Which I like. I like it. That makes it good.
The Splitfire is in their newer version that they're building. They will have that.
Oh, okay.
The other thing too is, as you can tell, this is not powder coated. It's painted. So the newer ones that will be coming out in the future are powder coated, just like their 3-point carryalls and their chippers. So they will be powder coated.
Now, I know the powder coating is nice. I know it lasts longer. I know a lot of guys get their underwear in and out over it, but it wears off just like paint, but not as fast. This goes off a lot faster. But you know what? They sell spray paint.
You know what?
So you get it clean.
And you know what?
Spray paint it.
They sell matching spray paint.
There you go.
How do you like that?
There you go. The other thing is you could always just rub it with a little bit of oil, and it's not going to rust on you.
No,
and
no.
And if you keep it inside, if you keep it dry, it's probably going to be fine.
I do the fluid film,
Yeah,
but
there
they've
you go.
gone one better. Yeah. Nobody else offers it. They have a total cover for this.
This?
Yes.
No kidding.
They just came out with
there
it.
you go.
Yep.
Yep, that's a good
But
idea.
I'll tell you,
too.
that caster assembly that you did,
yeah, nice.
that's really nice if you don't have a tractor.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for a guy that has is producing wood just for himself, money-wise, this is a much better buy than a box store splitter because the cost is just a little bit more, but it's a lot better.
Well, you have
just is.
this thing right here, which is the lift table.
Okay, so
really makes a difference.
Oh,
Now,
yeah,
this
yeah.
is not, this is an option, so that's extra.
So the only other thing that I wonder about, this has the,
This is the Honda.
no, I mean,
Oh.
it has the caster in the back.
Yeah.
But you can also put a receiver on this.
Yes, I have it in the truck.
And obviously this is not
It's not
interstate
roadworthy, no.
It's just good enough to move around.
Around the property with
Right.
your ATV or UTV.
Right, and it's small enough though, you could easily put it into a trailer just like you did. So.
Yep, that's it.
Yep.
So why don't we do some splitting with it now?
I like it. Let's do it. You're
All
on.
right, Chris, you need to reposition that.
Yeah, we want, because we're recording here, I want to be able to have the sun to be able, so you guys can see what we're doing. So I realized this is a good spot, but we're going to pivot. I want to show you how easy this is because I started to do this and I thought, well, we should just show everybody. So yeah, you do this. And it's that easy. Piece of cake.
No tractor needed.
What's nice about it is this is a big, what is this, about a 4 foot long lever.
48 inches or
Yeah,
so.
that's a 4 foot long lever that you're using.
I'm bad
there.
at math.
Okay, yeah. So it makes it very easy to pivot. It was that was slick. So as far as moving it in a log pile, this would be easier than even a box store splitter.
Oh, without a doubt,
you-
because
it's
you can
just-
position
it moves so
everything here. And for moving it, this table here, there's a pin at the bottom here. You pull the pin and the whole table goes up, and then you repin it. So the footprint on this is extremely short when you take this down.
Yeah, you're what,
This is
36 inches or-
28, yeah. The table is 28 by 18, but with the wheels on each side, you're probably looking at like 32 to 35 as a total footprint.
So you can pivot that so
You can
easily.
pivot it super easy, yeah.
So now you've used this splitter a bunch. I can see the paints were off.
I got about 10 cords on it.
Oh, okay. So that's a bunch.
So
now.
just wanted to test it out and see.
Right. And I haven't used one, but I was at the Paul Bunyan show. I did watch theirs being used by the guy that bought it and then the guy that was demonstrating it. But I never actually used it. But I have an idea. I watched your video. I saw that it works. But there's some special features about this that no one else has. First thing is you've got some
Ribs.
anti-kickback ribs here, which after running some of the other vertical splitters, if you get a chunk of wood that's cut crooked on the end, it has what I call a steel cut, and you get that point just right, it can kick out and you can hit your guts or worse, hit the gentleman and your gentleman's plums as they call them. It could hurt.
Ah,
You also have this.
well, this is the stomach protector or the
Right.
belly protector.
I think
And
it's more.
now, good and bad.
Yeah.
This is good. I have a video previously that I shot on this showing the difference between this and a commercial. Because by the way, I want to point out, this is not a commercial splitter. Okay, so let's get that, because people are going to complain. You'll get the, oh, it's not. No, it's not a commercial splitter. It is a pro grade splitter. But here's the one thing. This is a great idea, and I do use it. You've got about 19 inches up to here, not to the table, but up to here. So your block of wood has to be maybe even 20 inches, 21 inches, because you could get the center of the block and start chipping it away a larger round. But you've got just about 20 inches right there, and that's it.
So if you're doing big wood, just take it off.
Well, that's it. People say, well, if you can't do 30 inches, I don't want it. Well, you can. You can take this off. The table is 18 inches overall from here to here, but you're losing some. So a 25 to under 30 inches you could put on here and work on it. No problem, if you take this off.
Okay.
You don't want to take a 30-inch block, put it on here and let the block sit on this and put all that pressure on here.
Right. Well, if you get a guy that's slightly handy or you know someone that knows how to do this, take this off, have a guy fabricate just the lip out. Take this, make another one of these without this holder here. You could extend your table a little bit for bigger wood.
Here's the problem though. We're redesigning something that already has been proved. You do that, you're getting further away from your knee control.
Oh, yeah.
You're also getting further away from this right
Right.
here, which means you're going to be bending over.
Right.
Great ideas,
Got it.
but
It's already been thought
they've
of.
already thought about a lot of this stuff.
It's funny how
It works great.
It's funny how all of us, I'm guilty just like a lot of you are and you are, you think you can out-engineer an engineer.
Yeah.
Not
Now,
usually.
well, here's the thing. Some of the best ideas come from their customers.
Right, right.
You
True
know,
of any manufacturer.
Exactly. When I worked for Bosch or Fiskar, our customers were the best testers, were the number one thing, and also the innovations that came up.
Sure.
Why don't you do this?
They'll
You know,
find they'll find the problems
That's
faster
it.
than you can. Yeah,
That's it.
Especially if you're using any kind of volume on a time-wise on a machine, you're going to find it out.
But I will tell you, wait until you used it, you've seen it run. Now, you got to make your own choice. You've done the Ultra, and it would be nice at some point to have them side by side so that we can do a comparison. But it's not fair, because one of them is a commercial splitter, one is not.
One's horizontal, one's vertical.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So a couple other things about this that we didn't mention. You've got a single wedge here. Can you get a 4-way?
No.
Okay.
And
Because
just
it's
like
not enough pressure, I'm guessing.
I don't know if that's it. It's a safety issue.
Oh, okay.
It's just like Easton Made will not sell a four-way splitter.
Mm-hmm.
Now you look at Power Split, they do have a 4-way splitter in some of the other companies.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, watching one knife is enough. With a vertical splitter, you have to have your A game. You've got to have your head in this. You can't lollygag. This,
Accidentally have a thumb or a finger on
that's
the top.
the thing.
And have
That's
that
the
cross
nice
piece
thing
sitting.
is if you get yourself putting your hands on the sides, never on the top.
Yep.
Even if you're doing kindling, you never want your hands on the top. So, and the difference is, this is 3/4 of an inch thickness. The axis is 1 inch, so it's only a 1/4 of an inch difference on this. But this uses the same style as your X27 Fiskar axe. It does that popping, and the nice thing I like about this is when you're splitting it, the splitting forces are going out like this, whereas on a horizontal splitter, you're right here, and if you have some of the old wood and it pops, I've had it hit me.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So-
or you get a piece that's in there and you accidentally have your hand somewhere on the edge where there's a lip and all of a sudden that you get pinched. I've had that happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now the other thing about the splitter is it goes through crotch wood. But here's the thing. You don't want to put it right smack dab in the middle and start there to make your cut. You work on, as you know, you read the wood and you work on the edges.
Yeah, don't take too big of a bite.
Yeah. Yep.
So next thing, how many tons?
7.5 tons.
7.5 tons.
Yep,
So about
7.5
half of what
tons.
the Ultra is.
It is virtually half. It's 14. It's 14 ton on the Ultra. You have a 14 horsepower motor. This is a 5.5.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No electric start available for this, but it's so easy to
but
pull.
it is a Honda engine.
This one is a Honda. The standard one is a Lansen. They've switched to that one. They've had no problems with it. It's somewhat of a clone to the Honda that's on here. I wanted to upgrade this, so I went with the Honda.
Oh, so
And I just love Honda, so you know that.
Yeah, Honda's good stuff. Next thing, we might have mentioned it. Total weight is 400-ish.
450.
450. Yeah, it didn't feel that bad coming down the ramp at all. It didn't feel heavy. The only thing is, we did notice as we were coming down the ramp, because you got it's a cylinder, not cylinder. It's a monolith of
That's
steel.
it.
So it was good thing I was there because I could.
Well,
feel it.
here's the one thing. Though you thought it was coming at you,
Yeah.
I was holding on the caster assembly so it wouldn't go forward.
Right.
I would have had to have lost my control on that, and then it would have gone forward.
Right, which
but
can happen.
It definitely could happen, definitely.
What is
Yep.
this here?
This is the part, this table, when it lifts up,
Okay, you
there's
put
a
it in here.
pin
Got it.
right
Yep,
here,
got
and
it.
it just goes right. That's for traveling.
Yep, got it. Okay.
And now, I'm so used to having my splitter table on the right-hand side. When I got this, it was kind of okay. And the logic behind that is the handle to operate the ram is on the right-hand side here. So you're taking your rounds and you're moving them in here
Right.
and operating. However, in the future, you're going to have your choice of whether you want it on the right-hand side or the left-hand side.
Okay.
So.
Adjustable as far as the retract. Can you?
Okay, there is one size This is a 20-inch maximum.
Okay.
You can get a 16-inch limiter that goes on this side here, but what I found is because this is 20 inches, 16 inches, I'm not gaining that much, so I took it all off. It's a limiter for 16-inch wood, and what you find is how many people cut exactly 16. So if you're 16 or 16 and a half,
yeah.
because you might not get it right with that lip right there.
Next question, and this came up with the split force that we had here. People they had their underwear or not. Oh, I would never get it. It doesn't have the clean off for when the wedge goes up. If you got a piece locked on.
This is a peeler plate.
Okay.
This is a peeler plate. The axis has peeler arms on it.
Yep.
So when a block gets stuck on here, it comes up here. Now, if it only goes in 2 inches into the block and gets stuck, you just grab a piece of wood underneath it, stick that between here and the wood, it pops off.
Right.
I have never had anything that I couldn't get off.
And when I had that split force here, it doesn't have the clean out, which would be an easy add-on for them. I really never had an issue with something getting stuck. Once or twice it pulled up, but it was split so far down already by the time it came up.
It
was easy to get it off. It wasn't like it was on there so tight I couldn't get it with just my bare hands. I never had to use them all. So it really wasn't an issue. But yeah, I can see where this plate is nice to have. So what else you got to tell me about this thing?
Well, the nice thing about the Splitfire 1165V here is you have two options on hydraulic controls. The first one is the standard control like you would have on a box store splitter. You press this down, the ram goes down, automatic return, so you don't have to hold it. It just goes up automatically. So that's the first way. The second one is the optional knee control.
When you say optional, you pay extra for that?
Yes,
but it's probably not much.
$260.
Okay. So it's just another. Oh, I see. So they got a whole linkage all the way back
It's everything.
to here.
It uses Heim joints, these heavy-duty Heim joints and everything, and it's a heavy-duty unit here. And I didn't know whether I would like it when I first got it because it's kind of goes. You and I are both used to the foot control, and though I like the foot control, after using this for 10 chords, I don't know which one I like better, honestly. And you can take a look, and you can.
They both work.
And some people say, "Oh, I'm going to have knee problems, hip problems, and everything else." I don't know.
I think a lot of people just look for an excuse to either not like something or to complain.
Well, when we do something different,
right? I find that when I do something different than I'm accustomed to, you get used to it.
Yeah,
you get used to whatever you're doing.
That is so true.
People fear change. That's the number one thing.
And I understand it. And there were a number of people that contacted Splitfire and said, you know, we won't buy it because it doesn't have a foot control. Oh well, you're missing out on a great piece of equipment, I'll tell you.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of people. Like I said, they're afraid of change. They're afraid of trying something new because they get locked into the same thing. I mean, there's I always mention the whole brand loyalty thing. People get locked into a particular truck brand, and that's all they'll get. Even if they've got lots of problems, they don't realize everybody makes good stuff.
That's it.
They're just different.
Well, my thing is try it. Try it before you make a comment. Try it before you buy it. You know, if you find some place to go, because that's the only way to see if you're going to like it or not.
That's why watching YouTube obviously helps you, but then to be able to go to a show, the logging shows, the Paul Bunyan show, any of the shows that have machines, go try them out. Hands-on is the way to go.
Exactly. Yep. So a couple other things we mentioned with this extension table, and this is an option once again. When you lift it up, it's, as you can tell, it's a heavy gauge metal. It's 16 by 18.
Oh yeah, you could easily put a couple 100 pounds on it.
Oh, easily with no problem. And you can get this table here.
This is 100, well, with my clothes, I'm probably 190 pounds of pure steel. Look at that.
Oh, God. Well, what you're looking at, 76 inches here.
Right, that's a lot
total.
of workspace.
So once again, like you pointed out, workspace is something that every splitter should have.
Yep, we were talking about that earlier off camera, is that the old style box door splitters and even some of the pro models don't have much of a work area. The horizontal splitters specifically, a lot of them will have a rail, basically a bed or what would you call that, your chamber for splitting.
Yeah, the groove, trough, whatever.
Yeah, But once you split a big piece, the wood's going to go somewhere, and you can only usually catch one of them if it's a bigger chunk.
Well,
and then you got to pick it up again. Whereas this, anything that's got a table at work area, you split it, you slide one way, slide one the other way. You don't have to lift it
in
again.
all honesty, when I use my access, I love the fact that I could take a 30, 40-inch round,
Right.
put it on the table, and scoot it over. I love that fact. You didn't like it initially. You did a lot of cutting, noodling, because you can't lift that up. But like you pointed out, many guys, you see them on, I got a 40-inch piece of wood. Yes, you have a lift table that you could bring it up. You put it in your trough. The first cut you make, that one piece is going on.
Yep.
And if you're working alone, you're screwed. Now what? You've got a 200-pound piece
Yep.
of wood on one side. What do?
Yeah.
You got to shuffle that over. Whereas with this, you at least have a table here to work with.
Right, you got somewhere to go with it, and you already did the lift. Why lift it again?
Right.
And people say, oh, it's no big deal. Well, when you're splitting for 8 hours straight, 5 days a week, that's a lot of lifting.
Well, Mike from K&L Firewood, and you should check his channel out, he pointed out, after 2 to 3 hours worth of working on something like this,
Yeah.
your back is going to save you, or your back is going to thank you, as well as having the lift, the log lift.
Yeah.
And yes, it can only lift 150 pounds.
This
can you lift 150 pounds and put it on top of your Ultra?
I can, yeah, but I don't want to.
You liar.
Try to find me a log.
I'm going to take you up on that one.
I've lifted a couple 200-pounders, but about
Really?
both my eyes popped out of my skull doing it.
I
I can do it, but I shouldn't be doing it. And
We're not doing a shibe, huh?
no, I'm not
Clean
shy.
and jerk
I
into
am
the
not
trailer.
Shy. And I'm like my brother Ken says, I'm too old now to work that hard. I
Yeah.
don't need any more Abby wood. By that I
That's-
mean Abby normal.
Yeah, Abby Normal is right.
100 pounds is not a problem. I can lift that up. But I'd rather lift a 50 or 60 pounder. So on those big 200-300 pound rounds, I just rip them. I got big saws. They rip good.
And
Get them to manageable sizes.
you know what I find when you rip them? The quality of wood you get
Very
out of
good.
something like this, it's all bundle grade wood
It's
when you're
phenomenal.
splitting. It's phenomenal.
Especially if you got the nasty wood, the crotchy
Yes.
stuff. You can rip
And
it.
you like those nasty crotches.
The nasty crotches burn hot, long. It's dense wood. It's some of the best wood there is. The ugly wood, for those of you that
Oh, I
burn
love
wood
it.
know this. The ugly wood, especially for like boiler people, or if you've got a big wood stove and you're heating your house,
That's a premium.
The uglier wood, the better for heat.
Agreed 100%. So you want to try this?
Yeah, let's
Oh,
fire it
you
up.
were asking me.
Oh, yeah.
The tires, naturally,
Yes.
we mentioned earlier, this is not road worthy. There are two different options on the tires. The first one uses a wheel bearing type of hub on it with no bolts. It's just a cotter pin that holds the wheel in. This one here, I went with the upgraded 4-bolt tires. They're 15 inches, but they're not meant for highway use. They're just meant to move it around your property.
And if you want a vertical splitter and you want a good one that is going to last 10 lifetimes and you can tow it on the road at 65 miles an hour, you're probably going to want either an Axis or a Wolfridge.
Absolutely.
'Cause
But they're
it's-
commercial
But they're
splitters.
4 times as much.
that's exactly
So
it.
There's that. So
You know-
it depends.
As I pointed out in my last video, if you have the money and you have ugly wood and you're in this as a business, the Axis or the Wolfridge 17 VS, that's the only way to go with those
Right.
type. But if the majority of the people out there are weekend warriors. If you do 20 cords or less, 30 cords or less, a machine like this is sufficient. Take a look. How many thousands of cords have you done with your Glacier box store splitter?
A lot.
Thousands. I mean, it was unbelievable to see that machine.
That's how all
and
this
you
gray
told
happened.
me exactly. So I mean, a machine like this is going to last you your lifetime probably.
Yeah, it's
And-
just wear parts and things like that.
I will honestly say I bet a number of the professional people that are doing bundle wood that have to resplit, this is the
would be
type of
perfect.
machine you're looking at.
Yeah, this would be adequate.
Yeah.
But the Wolfridge 17V or V17,
The RS, you mean?
no,
or
the vertical.
V,
the
okay.
V. 17 and the Easton made Axis, as my good friend Ferris would say, if you have the means, I highly recommend getting one because they are choice.
Yes. And once again, now there though, you really have to have a heavier piece of equipment to start moving something like that.
See, and that's
so
the
you
thing
need
with
a
this.
tractor,
Yep.
you know, or
Yep.
a pickup truck, and you have to do strategic thinking when you're pulling that around, where you're going to pull it.
Where you're
I
going to
can
put your
stack-
wood.
That's it.
Because you got to get the splitter to it, or you got to get the wood to the splitter. This and the
You
Ultra,
saw that. You just pulled it out.
Yeah,
So
it's-
you can stack the wood anywhere you want and just pull it right out.
Right, right. And then again, like we said, this pile used to be a big pile of wood, and I split a lot of this and it went back into the bin when I had the Wolf Ridge here, and Bert would just bring the skid steer over the tractor and we'd push the pile to it. Whereas with this, you can just move it to the wood.
Well, that's why I like the one that you had previously, the one with the conveyor, the split force.
Well, the split force, yeah, that drivable.
That's nice. Once again, you have to have room. Are you going to put that outside and leave it outside? Yeah, a number of people will, but otherwise you have to have a barn to put it in,
Yeah.
and it's long, but it's super nice,
Super nice.
incorporating all of those features. I wish, you know, other companies like Wolf Ridge or Easton
Well,
Made had
I got
one
a
of those.
feeling the way people are competitive and want to advance and want to stay current, want to stay up on things, I wouldn't
You
be
wouldn't be
surprised at
surprised.
all if you start seeing some more of that.
Well, let's hope so, because that's. But then again, they're going to be more expensive.
Yeah, that split force was 24,000
Okay.
around there.
So if you look at, let's say, either one, Wolf Ridge or Axis, with a separate, I mean, they both come with conveyors. So you're looking at 16,000 right in that area for that. Now that's an 8-foot conveyor on that. So
Right, so that's just enough to get it either into a small trailer pickup truck,
correct.
or a little pile. But
Right.
the split force, you had that 20-foot.
It's a 20-foot. Wow.
20
that's-
foot, yeah. So you're getting a 11 or 12 feet, I think you can get your pile, something like that. Usually it's about half of the distance of your elevator, and you can move it around. You
That's
can
the thing
pivot
I
it.
like about it.
It had the Honda engines. It was a nice machine. Maybe I should get one of those here again.
Maybe. Well, why don't you split with this one first?
Let's try it out.
Okay.
So I thought instead of having you just listen to the engine roar, I would talk about what I was doing. Here you can see I got a piece that's got an angled cut. So I put that up, which is the way to do it instead of on the table. So my first few splits using the knee was actually very easy. I liked it a lot. The machine works really good. So I did, you know, the 4 cuts there and then the whole thing right down the middle, and you get 8 pieces just like that. So it's pretty cool. And just chuck that out of the way and go to the next one. So here I'm trying the log lift. That's about as big of a piece as I could get on there that I had available. I might have been a 100-pounder, but it lifted it just fine. It was about a 20-incher, so I couldn't slide it in all the way. So I had to kind of do pieces off of it. And you can see here I'm just taking some chunks out of there. But you can work the edges of the bigger chunks like this pretty nicely. Even though that was a bigger one, it works pretty good. But the plenty of power, I was very surprised because this is some really heavy white oak, and it seemed to work just fine. So you can see I got a little hard time because that piece is bigger really than what fits on there. But I tried to take some bigger bites out of it, and it seemed to work just fine. This is the way you really should split wood anyway. You shouldn't really go down the middle. Just take pieces off, just like when you're using an axe or a splitting maul. Just take what it'll give you. Just whittle away on it, and you want pieces like that anyway. But that single wedge worked really well. The one thing that I was surprised at is that how good it cut. You can see from a different angle here. It just sliced right through it. And I thought with only having like 7 tons of pressure, it wouldn't be that much. But for doing resplits or doing small wood, if you don't have big monster pieces, this thing worked just excellent. I was very impressed with it. Now this piece here had some knots in it, so I was trying to get it to go to where the knots were, like right in here. I'm going to see what happens here. There's a knot you can see, and that stalled it out. So then I had to pound it off of there because when it was going into the knot, it did die. And this is a trick that Tony said he does. He just takes a piece and there it pops it right off. So that worked pretty good. And then here you can see where I should have gone, just taking off the shingle type pieces there, the chunks like that. And there's a knot on the bottom here. I don't know, I can't remember if it goes through. Yeah, it goes right through that. Oop, it had to work though, but it got through it. but it's not as powerful as the Easton Made or the Wolf Ridge. But if you've got nice wood or smaller pieces, and if you whittle away at them like we're doing here, it actually worked out pretty good. Plenty fast, I gotta say that. I don't know what the cycle time is, like 4.5 seconds. So plenty fast. You really wouldn't want it any faster, especially when you're working with a vertical splitter, because you want to keep all your fingers if you can. And I found those ribs that are on the bottom that they had there worked real nice. Look at Tony getting his camera in the way there. Look at that. So yeah, it didn't kick out at all on me, and then having that, they call it a belly protector, but to me it's more of a crotch protector. Here's a piece of oak here that I'm splitting, and anything in a straight grain, it does a beautiful job on it. The one thing that I would say it maybe is a little weak on is if you've got knots and crotches, but again, I think you just work around those and I think you'd be fine. Split really good. It's as fast as you want to move, I can tell you that. Having the lift there was really nice, but I was just trying to grab pieces that were of the right size. Right down the middle on this one, look at that, popped it right apart, and it's a piece of red oak, I think. Yeah, it's a piece of red oak there. But red oak split's pretty nice, actually. It's one of my favorite woods to split when there's no knots, especially in the wintertime when it's cold. It seems to just explode. It pops apart really good. But here you can see it's working pretty nice. That's true of all pieces of wood there. They'll split out like that, and you'll have some stringy pieces that will hang on, and you got to kind of work them off. But yeah, this machine, you could move right along. This was my first time using it. I think once you get better at using a machine, you get faster, more efficient. But it worked good. So here, that's the way you're supposed to use it. Do a couple cuts and then turn it, and then do a couple more cuts, and then turn it and do a couple more cuts. I'm just kind of finishing it off from the other side. So there you go. That worked pretty slick. Here's one that's a crooked cut again too. There's a piece of white oak here. And I purposely picked one that was a little dry on the end there, and it went right through it. And this is a bigger size chunk too. It's probably a 18, 19-inch piece there. It's going right through it just fine. But boy, you wouldn't want to have anybody else's hands in there, because it's all about your timing when it comes to having your wedge, your ram come in and out and go up and down. I'm going to try to do a center one here and see. Yep, yeah, it powered through it. That was about all it could handle there. And you could see the clean out plate up on the top there worked pretty good. But yeah, this is one thing I like about the vertical splitters is you got more room to work. Your pieces aren't just falling to the ground. You can actually use your work area. And there's that, how it kicked out a little bit and the ribs kind of caught it there. Again, there it was kind of actually slicing through. It wasn't really splitting so much as it was cutting. But yeah, nice size pieces. Seemed to work really good, and I think it would handle pretty much anything. I would like to maybe try it sometime on some elm and see how it does, because nothing does good on elm. But you can see there it was cutting. There it's cutting again. You can see it's actually slicing through the wood. You got to get used to that clean out doing its job up on the top of that plate too. So he's cutting it right there again, because this piece was cut crooked a little bit, which happens. So that's kind of a stringy piece of white oak there, and it seems to be doing a pretty darn good job with it, really. There's always that stringiness there. But there you go. So there we go. That was kind of fun. This thing is awesome. I love the knee control.
Yep.
It works really good. And like we were talking, as we get older, you don't have the balance we used to have, and it's so nice having both your feet on the ground and just doing one of these instead of hunting for it. And then also, like we talked about, you got the issue of trash underneath your foot peg. So there's that. But it worked really good. Plenty of power. It sheared through some stuff. Now, we purposely picked out some crappy stuff, some knotty stuff, and stuff that was crooked. So it wasn't ideal wood. A lot of times you see a demonstration and they got the absolute most beautiful
straight grain wood,
perfect pieces. We didn't do that. We picked out some uglies, and the crotch wood is awesome. It's great firewood, but it's nasty to split. So there's that. And like you said, you don't want to always go right down through the middle of the crotch, because That's hard to split sometimes when you don't have a lot of power. And this is like, what, about a 7.5 ton?
A 7.5, exactly, yeah.
But it was plenty powerful. It did it just fine. Because it's a smaller knife, it cuts really good, and you just kind of worked on the piece. The one thing that we found is the table going down. It's a relief, so you got to hit it twice and it comes down, but it's not like a fast
It doesn't slam down, or it's not like a dump trailer that you can have the assist. It's gravity fed,
Right.
and that's it. I know that I'm going to talk with the folks from Splitfire. I believe that will go down a little faster. There's probably an adjustment I'm unaware of.
Right. We had that one piece that was bigger, so I had to take just pieces off of it, which is fine. And to my point is that you get a piece that big that's 120, 150 pounds, I just as soon rip it in half and have a manageable
Agreed.
piece anyway.
Yep.
Especially if you got a nasty one. Sometimes those knots are better to rip, clean up the wood a little bit so you get better pieces out of it.
And you do get better pieces out of it.
You do.
Yep.
But yeah, it turns around really nice. Everything works really good on it. For the price,
Once again, like I said, the base price without any accessories at about $2,300. But the one thing that I would never be without is a lift table. And you add about another $520, $550. So $2,800, you're in business with a comfortable machine here.
what's nice about it is the extra work area.
Yes.
That's
yep.
huge.
Regardless.
And the small footprint of this.
Whether you buy the accessory table on the side, but that by itself, you could have a picnic table or a banquet table on this side, but most of the time you're throwing the stuff off anyways, like you were doing.
Right, yeah. Yeah, it took a little getting used to, and one of those things, like a lot of guys will talk about how their machine is better.
Yeah.
I think it's just because they use it, and they're more used to it, and they're afraid of change. I'm not afraid of change. I like changing.
No.
It's nice to try other stuff out because it opens up your mind to other possibilities.
Well, like I
And
told you, I
try
was
different
reluctant at first to even consider something like this because I have the foot control, but after using this, I don't know. They're about the same
It's
for me.
nice. It was very nice. Very easy to operate.
Yep.
I like it. And for resplits, it would be fantastic. Anything
Well,
else?
hopefully you found this interesting here.
It was fun. Yeah, bring me more toys.
Well, Mom says I have to share, so I'll be bringing more stuff.
Sounds good. Now,
right.
There's a pile of wood back here. We got about a cord. You got to split that before you leave.
Oh my God. I thought I was doing you a favor. Now it's the other way around. Jeez, you're always making out the best way.
I always look out for number one.
Well, thanks so much for watching.
Thanks a lot. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 5:30 a.m. Good night, Irene.
And remember, don't be a tool. Watch Tony's Cool Tools.